Hello, I'm Andrew Salmon and welcome back to WEC TV interviews. Now, if you're the head of a national power utility, how far ahead do you need to plan when it comes to plant construction? How important should nuclear be as part of your energy mix, particularly in the wake of Fukushima? Moreover, how can you improve efficiencies? How can you raise access? These are some of the questions we have for our guest this morning. He's the CEO of South African utility Eskom, but his interests, indeed his responsibilities, extend beyond his own nation. Brian, thanks for joining us here on WEC TV.
Morning, Andrew.
Okay, Brian, tell us a little bit about the South African plant construction build at the moment. I understood there was some disarray in the program. You've been asking for faster decisions from government.
Yeah, I think one point we have to make clear, there's absolutely no disarray in what we're doing. From that perspective, we are constructing and really playing catch up. And it comes to your question around the importance of early planning. And it's true for us as a country, and it's true for many countries. I think recently the UK made an announcement around some of the challenges that they face. So it's very important that all countries, I think we all recognize, needs to make vast amounts of investment in energy security, and this is true for South Africa. South Africa has been very successful post-1994, used up all its excess capacity, did not invest, and now have to play catch up. And so these projects are being built, they are being executed. Yes, we have challenges, most of them technical challenges from some of our large suppliers, not unique to us, similar to what we've seen in many parts of the world. And so hence the importance that utilities, we plan 20, 50 years ahead. On an actual construction job, we would do it 10 years ahead. So it's very important that we have decision making early, that as a country and as a utility we're clear as to the choices we make in that regard.
Okay, let's talk about nuclear, because I understand that you've been arguing for a faster build and a faster add of nuclear to your mix. Has the Fukushima issue in any way changed your mind or caused you to sort of stop and wonder?
I think Fukushima has an impact on the whole nuclear industry globally, and I think all of us as nuclear operators, and Eskom being one of the founder members of WANO, has taken quite clear cognizance thereof. We were very responsive to our current operations. We run Africa's only nuclear facility. As to where's our facility at vis-a-vis Fukushima, I think we've had a great response as to how we've dealt with that. South Africa and many countries will not solve their energy problems with only selecting one option of technology. I think it's very dangerous to pick a technology and say that is the answer. And so we certainly believe in a very balanced portfolio in how we're going to deal with our future energy mix. And in that balance, we certainly believe nuclear should play a role. And you're right, the issues that came out of Fukushima will play a role in terms of the timing of decision making, will play a role in terms of the choices to be made around nuclear design and the safety issues. And that is more important in terms of things such as off-site power supply, location of the nuclear plants, the altitude of the nuclear plants. So all of that will have to be taken into account in terms of our decision making. But South Africa has got a 20-year plan. And that 20-year plan has indicated that renewables will be 42% of the new capacity in South Africa, nuclear 23%. And it's very important for us. The nuclear debate is very important because it also deals with our response to CO2 emissions, and particularly our raw water use, because we are a water scarce country. So it's part of our mix. Certainly Fukushima would play a role, and we will go through that in a very careful decision-making process. And as I said, government now has a 20-year plan to deal with these choices.
Brian, I understand that South Africa has achieved some pretty significant energy savings. How did you, of around 3.7%, despite the fact that your country is in economic growth mode? How have those efficiencies been achieved nationally?
Energy efficiency, similar to the balance on the supply side, is another important component as to how you deal with the whole energy situation in South Africa. And we have seen a significant shift in terms of efficiency in our country. South Africa has got a history of excess capacity, very cheap electricity, and therefore the inefficient use of it. And so driving that has been quite important for us. We launched a program called 49M, 49 million South Africans, all working together around energy efficiency. We've seen massive rollout of energy efficiency appliances, light bulbs in the country. We on television in South Africa today, you'll get a status around customers where they have to respond to different appliances that they have to switch off. We've seen the conversion of water heating from electricity to solar in particular. And in the past winter, we ran quite an innovative campaign, what we call a power bulletin, where a South African can watch television in terms of the news, then the weather report, and then the power report.
Oh, really?
And we get the weather forecasters to present that. And it's really taken on. So you have over 20 million South Africans that sit down and watches the news. Everybody wants to know what the weather is like, and everybody wants to know what the power system is like. So this partnership between the utility and the country and citizens to create the sense of awareness has been quite successful for us. And you're right, we have seen significant savings. This summer, we're really focusing on a new theme, and we're calling it Live Lightly as South Africans.
Live lightly.
Live lightly. And it's not just the use of energy in terms of our air conditioning load in summer, but it is also about those traditions that we normally have as to how we dress to the office, but more widely our use of water, our footprint in terms of waste. And so that is the next part, through using energy, that we would like to create that consciousness among South Africans to look really at how we use resources.
Gotcha. Speaking of resources, Africa, particularly sub-Saharan Africa, is really a bit of a dark space when it comes to energy. It's one of the most energy-starved areas in the world. I understand you are engaged in various initiatives to bring more power supply, access, and perhaps more energy security to various parts of the continent. How's that working?
Yeah, I think let's just talk a little bit about that. I mean, the context, what is the context? We have over most of it 2 billion people without access to electricity. Southeast Asia, and the majority of them sits in sub-Saharan Africa. And yet you have a continent that's got all the natural resources, that has got significant growth economies, and it's the one thing that we will have to do as a world to deal with very quickly. We can't wait for 2060. We have to deal with energy access in order to make sure people has got ability to deal with education and growth and create sustainable communities. And you know that the UN has declared last year as the year for energy access for all. And the UN Secretary General has launched this initiative. Eskom, particularly with Duke Energy from the US, has been piloting, putting together an electrification roadmap for Southern Africa to allow us to take our expertise that we've built up in South Africa, Duke's expertise out of the US, bring other global utilities together, and really start putting a roadmap together to work with the utilities in Southern Africa to deal with this issue. And we've got a vision as to what we can do very quickly and work with governments to then bring funding where commercially possible, bring funding where donations are required or donor funding is required, and deal with this issue. Because if we deal with this issue, we'll really fundamentally change global dynamics and for the continent. Africa cannot continue to be the dark continent. Eskom is the largest power company. You know, we produce 45% of all electricity on the African continent. And
all from one country.
All from one country. And we can and we will certainly play a role to change that.
Understood. Let me ask you, is this a commercial project, or do you see it more as a charity or corporate social responsibility project, or a little bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both. You need to look at where you have opportunities to attract private investment and for a commercial business case. And there's many of those. Massive natural resources in the continent, big cities, massive urbanization, mining investment happening throughout the continent, and energy is absolutely necessary to do that. Yes, Africa cannot continue to be the ones. You know, it's got some of the highest growth economies. This is a solid business case for solid private investment. And yes, for areas, rural areas, where we need to bring access, creates new opportunities for innovative off-grid solutions, for renewable solutions that are standalone. And so you need a combination of both of those to get this done.
Got you. Brian, it's been fascinating talking with you. Thank you very much indeed for appearing on WEC TV, and good luck with your various activities. Thank you. And please don't go away. Keep your eyes on the screen. We'll have more interviews coming right up.